Welcome everybody back to the Glorious Smite League. I am Panda Bear Ash, and with me on this cast is Morton. How are you doing today, my man?
Mate, I'm doing all right. How everybody? How are you, mate?
Doing great, doing great. Today we have a absolute great game. It is going to be Kuman and Zoomin facing off against the Fountain Gang. This is going to be very, very interesting. I am very, very excited for this. I definitely have been following both these teams since last season. With Albi being Kuman and Zooming their starting support, and the Hunter, the 12 Hunter 21 being
Welcome
Fountain Gang starting
everybody
support,
back.
who is also in fact their
And
captain,
with me on
and same with Albi. So that's a fun fact for you. Support captains. Fighting
Yeah,
it
and
out.
little change from last season. We saw Hunter playing in the solo lane. This season round, captain in his team, he's moved to support role. So I personally haven't seen him play there yet. I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on. Hopefully, he doesn't go
Mhm.
into the same solo mentality of
Yeah.
just running it down. But we shall see.
Oh yeah. It definitely should be a great game. Of course, there is going to be some roster changes coming out from Kuman and Zuman. Not generally, just they're gonna have a sub on the team. It is going to be ordered mess in the support role. It is going to be Abby. I'll be switching over to the ADC role for this game. Of course, Baba Yaga being the first band. Absolutely great band. Really like it. Think it's a top band. One of the better bands. Something that I do. Why would you want to ban this? Of course, I know that it's good. It's a good band, but Morton, why is it?
I will tell you exactly why the Baba Yaga's been banned. If you look onto the other team there's a little player on there goes by the name of Nope XD01. Happens to probably be the most disgusting Baba Yaga player in GSL, honestly. The guy's cracked on it. I'm not sure if he's I, I may be wrong here, but I mean, as far as GSL season one, he was totally unbeaten on the Baba for the whole season. So getting rid of the Baba is just a smart ban, in my opinion.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I saw some of his games and they were nasty indeed. Of course, Ravana and Rathusker being banned on the side of Fountain Gang. So nothing too out of the ordinary. Rathusker and Ravana, probably the top two junglers right now, along with Lancelot rounding out the top three, and Yu Huang being a ban for the not for the Fountain Gang, but for Kuman and Zooming, and they end up picking up this Cupid. Cupid, an absolutely the best ADC hands down. His great wave clear. He's great at everything. What would you want Fountain Gang to go into here, more?
They probably take, I mean, Darshi probably, or yeah, probably Darji. Darji's made it open. Cupid's been let through. If you want to put some focus around the duo side of the lane and shut him down early, take a Darji, run out there,
Mhm.
burn his beads, come back in 60 seconds and kill him. Um, can you top pick it? Yeah, I think so. I think you can top pick a Darji, even
Yeah.
if they lock in 4 more gods now with masses of CC immunity, you're still going to get insane value out of a burst. So I wouldn't mind the Cupid
Yeah, and a
versus
classic
Darji.
counter pick coming out with the Artemis. A really, really good pick. Artemis having that slow immune. Looks like it is going to be some debate. Not the Artemis not being locked in yet. It looks like Fountain Gang are just debating on what it's gonna be. So as we wait, I'll answer that Shiva being hovered here. Do you think there's a world where the Shiva gets locked in?
Yeah, we've seen it quite a lot. Specifically in GSL LD, Shiva is a god that's been picked up a lot. People are abusing Soul Eater, Sped. If you're out there, he knows. So they're going for gods like the Shiva. They're going for my brain's gone blank, but I know they've been banned the Ravana, the Rat, just standard Soul Eater abusers. People have been picking them. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not surprised that it's been picked up. Honestly, people like to get the pressure early. We see some snowball from it. Doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, definitely. I do like it. It is a great pick. Honestly, It's odd, you don't really see it in NA a lot, so definitely not a pick I've seen a lot, but whenever I come over to class Castiglione, I see it quite a bit, and every time it always works out well. I really like it. Artemis being locked in, she has that slow immunity and CC immune ult, within her abilities, but is there really any other reasons to pick her besides this Cupid counter?
Well, I mean, she has. I mean, her late game DPS is nigh on unmatched, honestly,
Mm,
compared to a lot of the hunters. But she has an incredible team fighting ultimate, a lot of self peel in that. Well, with the ultimate that is. So I don't. Yeah, no, I don't mind the pick. I never hate on an Artemis pick, but you
yeah,
do have to really mind your p's and q's, watch your positioning,
yeah,
because she's going to be kind of easy to dive if they pick up, a front line that's capable of doing it. Uh, I don't mind the Artemis pick. I I personally feel like sometimes it's not always the best of decisions to go for an extremely strong lane matchup if it has the
yeah,
potential to cause you issues in the late game
yeah,
because of a lack of mobility. So it really comes down to how they're going to perform in the late game, as
yeah.
to whether turns out to be a good pick or a bad pick. Honestly.
Yeah, and with to the response to this Artemis, it is going to be a Cabrakan and a Dodgy being picked up. Two very strong picks. We did talk about it. Maybe a potential top two for Fountain Gang, but instead it is going to be Kumi and Zoom picking up the Dodgy, a really good pick with her Powwow, being able to chain someone and drag them back in. It has a bit less of an effect on the Artemis, just because she can CC immune that ultimate. But Cupid having that ultimate, being able to potentially get that 1v1 is quite strong for the god. I definitely think that it helps Dodgy's case, and it allows her to easily sit the on the Artemis.
And the thing is Artemis is always really using her ult as a sort of reactionary tool to the Cupid ult.
Mhm.
Well, she could pop her movement speed and run, but she's going to be using that a lot defensively, and I think it's going to be somewhat easy to bait that ultimate out frequently for the Cupid, and just have your Darji come along and gank her when the ultimate's down. I think the Darji. Cupid has got some really nice synergy there, and I really like the Cabrakan matchup. Actually, that's going to make it really, really nice in the late game for just jumping on that Artemis and
Yeah.
shutting her down instantly, because there's not a whole lot that an Artemis can do really.
Uh, there really isn't. Kraken, a very, very strong pick with his ultimate, and the fact that Manticore Spike is still really good makes him still a really, really strong god, and definitely a god that I would want to be picked. Now, while moving over, where do you want Fountain Gang to go? Where do you think they'll go with this as they pick up this Persephone? Beyond the Persephone, well, first, stop at the Persephone, let's talk about that, but we'll go ahead and we'll come back to the Beyond conversation. So, what is the perks of the Persephone within this draft?
Well, the Persephone, excuse me. So the Persephone, speaking of Persephone, is she's someone that can. I mean, obviously her ultimate is incredible team fight capabilities, but she's someone that can really, really punish someone not having beads, and also the sheer damage that she outputs is quite insane. Honestly, you get a lot of lane pressure from her. You have insane kill potential, great self peel, CC immunity in her ult. She's just a bit of a jack of all trades kind of god. She's got a bit of everything. So yeah, I don't mind the Persephone. I'm looking at this Kuman and Zoomin team right now. Don't think they've picked their solo in the yet. I know that the Cabrakan has been picked, and that could go to solo. We do see that a lot. But I'm looking at this comp. I'm looking at this Shiva. I'm looking at this Artemis, and I'm thinking to myself, I'd really like this Cabrakan to go to support, and I'd really like him to
Yeah,
pick Guan Yu up in solo. There's,
yeah.
you have good lane matchups. You can abuse these Fey blessed hoops at the moment, which are really, really strong. And not only that, you can just totally dive on this Artemis and make her life a misery. Um, Remains to be seen what they be picked up, but I think that'd be a really nice little pickup from you.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Guan Yu would fit really nicely into this comp. I definitely think he's a really strong god right now with the prominence of Failures Hoops. as you said. So I think it's definitely a great pick there. Uh, so yeah, I agree. Back on the Persephone, uh, awesome pick. But where would you like Found Getting to ban? Of course, they have the ban coming into the second phase. So what would you like them to ban out? Of course, with the Dodging and Cabrera being picked up.
Probably the Guan Yu, honestly. I
Yeah,
just I wouldn't want this Guan Yu running me down if I'm an Artemis. But let's see. I know Sped. That Cabrakan is. I'm 99% sure he's gonna go to the solo lane. Right, his Sped's gonna be
yeah,
full damage on him, and it's lights out. So I'm gonna assume there's a support pickup to come now. So I'm looking at things like. Uh, Anything really, like Ymir, even like get rid of that. Give out just to make Artemis' life a little bit easier. Just aggressive supports. I think I'm looking at here.
yeah,
If I'm fountain gang, something just that's going to ruin Artemis' life essentially and ban it.
yeah. I definitely agree. I think that'd be really a good idea because this Artemis is already gonna have a hard enough time coming into pretty much this top three. So it is very interesting. Of course, now we're gonna be waiting on this ban. Be coming in real soon here. So more than beyond this, it is going to be coming in a Scylla ban.
It's still a ban.
Yeah, so Scylla ban.
That
Yeah,
is interesting. I
and
don't.
again, being the response. Uh, very interesting bands as a Poseidon
Yeah,
is
I
is
don't know
banned.
about a
You know,
Scylla ban.
yeah, yeah. So what are the merits of Scylla? Why would you want to ban her?
I just wouldn't. Honestly, I just
You
wouldn't
just
really care
wouldn't.
for banning her. I know you get her to late game, you hit level 20 and monstrous damage. We all know that.
Yeah,
But you've got to suffer. You've just got to suffer for so long with just hideous clear, no real like team fight potential in the early mid game. It not compare. Yeah, I wouldn't ban her personally. I would be looking for anything else really. Anything else than a Scylla. Like a
huh?
Discordia, for
Yeah,
example, I'd get rid of that over a
yeah,
Scylla.
yeah. As a Horus is picked and a Merlin is hovered. Now, this Horus, a very aggressive support, but also a god that can go into the solo lane. So, still leaving up a bit of mystery, of course. Both these gods seem like they could be sped gods, if I'm being honest. I think
Yeah,
I Kobraken's a bit more of a sped god. Think like when I think sped, I think like a full damage Kobraken, but I like
I
the
know
Horus.
Sped was abusing Soul Eater, right? And
Yeah.
everyone was making little jokes about him. And by the way, no one really cares. Like if it works, it works. You do you. So now he's playing Cabrakan, and what's the second? What is Soul Eater that isn't Soul Eater? Bancroft's Talon. So I completely expect this Cabrakan to go to Sped, him to rush Bancrofts and go for a full damage Cabrakan build. Honestly,
Yeah.
I envision this Horus just drop shipping a Cabrakan with 4 lifesteal items, a Bancroft's Claw, and a Blink rune, and just absolutely just pouncing on his Artemis all game. That's pretty much how I envision their sort of strategy to be here with these picks.
Yeah, as the last pick coming out from Kuman and Zuman, Pansy is going to be a Discordia, a very good pick with high damage output, and of course, if Sped does go on this Kabrakan, it's just going to be extra damage for Sped. And a Xingtian was picked by Fountain Gang as their response pick, and a Thor being locked in here. Good global pressure and some good jungle clear, but beyond that, what exactly does a Thor do for you?
Or a Thor, he gives you map manipulation, I suppose. And outside of that,
Mhm.
I'm not a big fan of Thor. I think his damage numbers are quite low when you compare him to other junglers. If we take his Mjolnir's attunement, for example, you throw that if you don't double tap someone. If I remember correctly, it's 210 base at max and 30%
Yeah.
scaling. If you double tap them, it's double. So it just doesn't do a lot of damage compared to other assassins. And if you're if you pop your two and throw your one and you do get a double tap, well, you've used two abilities for like 400 base and 60% scaling. I just feel like there's better gods that you could pick in almost every scenario. So I'm never really a big fan of the four personally.
Yeah.
Um, and I also feel like there's a lot there that can sort of interrupt his attunement is one. I just don't like the pick personally. I don't
Yeah.
think all that.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. I think that Thor is a pick. He's definitely good global pressure, good CC, but I I don't think that he's a god that I would have picked here. I think there's other gods that are open that I just like a bit more. But looking on, of course, as I mentioned, Ordered Mess is going to be the sub for Kuman and Zuman. So looking forward to him. And Albie is going to be in that on that Cupid piloting in the ADC role. So also a very, very interesting and exciting ideas here. Sped is indeed going as you called, Morton. The full damage Bancroft's Talon build is just absolutely gonna
I
do
knew it.
damage. Yeah.
He's running out there with like 60 magical power, ready to just one shot the wave, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean he's just charging there. One thing is on his mind and that's murder.
Yeah, that's
Easy.
pretty much the aim of it, isn't it? With Reckon to get that Bancross claw online, it's become incredibly dangerous.
Yeah. He's like that one Kendrick song I think it is. Murder on my who is that made by? I'm already getting sidetracked.
Uh, Murder on My Mind isn't that YNWA or whatever it is?
That might oh it's yeah okay yeah it is
Maybe I'm
it is
off. I don't know.
yeah yeah
Yeah.
okay yeah valid all right yeah that sounds good sound yeah I wasn't sure it's been such a long time as I listened to this, but speaking about listening things, I am listening into this game as Cabane falls absolutely low. Great body blocks coming out from Hunter. The sun happens to fall 75%, but nothing's out of it. Albie already playing like he needs to get killed. So,
Yeah, and we
great
see that
win.
one jungler here, zooming, Yeaton and Nene opting to not fight for the totem control, which personally I think it's the best start for a jungler. You do your red to yellow and then go to solo to fight for that first totem. You can never really go wrong with global gold. But what I did notice is that he rotates here